I tell you what, I look at a lot of stupid toys to entertain you guys. Let's look at some really stupid ones. E-toys. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, doing all the hard work for you guys. We're going to talk about e-toys. Now, we all know about Mattel, Hasbro, Galoob, Pterodops. We know about the big toy lines, but what about e-toys? Do you know about e-toys and the action figure lines they made? Probably not. It's a pretty generic line. You know, it's one of those action figures on cards. You look at the back of it, and it's just plain cardboard. They don't even have a color to it or anything. You probably see it on a rack or somewhere at a gas station. I don't know where these turned up at. I couldn't even really find a year on most of them. I think it's around 1990 to 1994. But I couldn't even find copyright dates on them, so I'm not really sure. But this e-toy company seemed to like to try to rip off other toy companies. We see that a lot with these cheap toy brands. Something gets really hot, and they'll jump on it and try to make something that looks close to it. Something like your grandmother would buy you, other than the real toy itself. You know how it is, grandmas. So let's look at this toy line. They didn't do a big long list of action figures, so we're going to look at every one they did. So let's start with this one. And I just love the name of this one. Big Fella. Yeah, an action figure line called Big Fella. You thinking this is some kind of dog action figure line maybe? Maybe it's trying to rip off that big red dog Clifford? Nope, not at all, not at all. This one's ripping off Godzilla. Can you believe it? They released 3 different Godzillas. And they called them Big Fella. Easy, Big Fella. Let's take a look, Godzilla. Or should I say, let's take a look at fake Godzilla, Big Fella. Now, I didn't know this, but I found out that the word Godzilla is a Japanese word, and if you translate it to English, it means big fella. I didn't know that, but they released 3 different ones. A black one, which is probably my personal favorite, a blue, and a green. They all 3 look the same, except for their different color. Now, in the 90s, Hulk Hogan wasn't the only one with big muscles that kids loved. Nope. There was Hercules. There was 2 different Hercules. There was like a Disney cartoon, and then there was the Kevin Sorbo's TV show. I've never seen any one of them. I don't really care to, but I heard the live-action Kevin Sorbo show was pretty good. I don't know. I didn't watch it or Xena the Warrior Prince. They just... Something about television shows that come on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon just doesn't seem right. Anyway, did they make figures based on the cartoon from Disney? Nope. Did they make figures based on the Hercules TV show? Well, there was an action figure line based on that TV show, but it wasn't made by E-Toys. But they had a line of Hercules figures also, but not really sure what it was based on. Doesn't look like any Hercules I know. There were 6 figures in this line. Again, not based on the cartoon or the television show. And if you ask me, they look more like wrestlers. I don't know why this is called Hercules. They don't even look that strong. Sure, they got bigger muscles than me. That's not really saying much. I know 2-year-olds that got bigger muscles than me. But here they are, Hercules, a 6-figure set from E-Toys. But this isn't the only action figure line E-Toys had that shared a cartoon name. They also released Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame? Is it Notre Dame or Notre Dame? I don't know. I don't care. But they released, well, some figures, not based on the cartoon. Again, I guess just based on the old, was it a fairy tale? Was it a fairy tale first? I don't know. Let's take a look. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Or Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Anyway, they released 2 figures. Well, a little more than that. There was a 3-pack, so it had 3 figures in it. But then they released a 1-pack with just the Hunchback himself. Well, look at that Hunchback. Whew, that's a Hunchback to be proud of. Don't worry, E-Toys isn't done trying to rip off stuff that became cartoons in the 90s, I think. This next one's based on Tarzan. People always say I say it wrong. Tarzan, I guess is how you say it. Damn, I can't talk. Anyway, let's take a look at this Tarzan line. Again, it's not really based on the cartoon. I think that cartoon came out in the 90s. It's not based on the old Greystone, the Legend of Tarzan. It don't even look like Tarzan, really. And instead of a whole action figure line, you only got 1. They didn't give you a monkey to fly. They didn't give you a monkey to hang out with. They didn't give you Boy, or whatever his son's name is, Me, Jane. They didn't give you any of that. Let's take a look. Again, only one figure. Tarzan. That's it. Just one figure. No one for him to hang out with. Didn't even give you a tree with a vine for him to swing on. That's not fun. Now, E-Toys did a line for girls also, and I think this one's kind of trying to rip off Sailor Moon, but I'm not really sure about that either. So let's check out Meteor Girl. These were 4 figures. Again, I think they're ripping off Sailor Moon. Not really sure. Now, these figures, I believe, came out in 1994. I don't know when Sailor Moon came out. To be honest, I don't even know what Sailor Moon is. I think it's a cartoon series about pirates that are female, but I could be wrong. Anyway, these look like Bendhams, but I'm not really sure. But man, they have some super long legs. Oh, look at those legs. They go from their feet to their butt. Now let's go back to E-Toys ripping off cartoons that Disney did in the 90s. Again, I think this is the 90s. I don't keep up with Disney cartoons. Sorry. This is the Junkman.
Hey, Junkman, it's me, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
I got an offer for you. I want to buy your YouTube channel for $11.38.
No. I don't want to sell. No, sorry.
Oh, well then, cancel the Junkman.
Let's look at Pogohontas. Again, just a one-figure set. Pogohontas. You didn't get anyone for Pogohontas to play with. You just got Poca. You didn't get John Boy. You didn't get anyone else. It was just Pocahontas or nobody at all. There's 2 things you loved in the 80s. Cops and robots. Put them together, you have RoboCop. Unless you're an E-Toys fan. And then you have Sonic Man. Yeah, Sonic Man. This is clear, 100%, without a doubt, a RoboCop ripoff. Now, they released 2 different ones. One came in red, as you can see here, and the other one, camo. Camo's a color, right? When I said they come in 2 different colors, that's right, camo's a color, right? Now, we've seen this toy company was really good about ripping off other brands. And this one here, although the RoboCop was pretty close, this one here really, I'm surprised they didn't get sued for this one, let's be honest here. What was big in the 90s? Power Rangers. And they didn't care. They were going to take some of them Power Rangers dollars. Sonic Rangers. Again, I can't believe they didn't get sued for this one. This is without a doubt a Power Rangers ripoff. It's almost the exact same thing. Well, their eyes do light up. I don't think the Power Ranger toys did that, and that's pretty cool. They released a robot in this line, and I'm not going to lie to you, that robot's pretty sweet. I wouldn't mind having that one. That looks pretty cool. If I was a kid and saw this, I might have to get that robot. It looks better than the fake Power Rangers figures, that's for sure. And they did one other girl toy line that we should talk about, and what a silly name for a toy line. Sweet Amanda. Who's Amanda? I don't know. I know Sweet Caroline, but I don't know Sweet Amanda. But let's take a look at these figures. Again, they're rubber looking, like the Meteor Girl. Their legs might not be as long as Meteor Girl legs, but they're still pretty long. And they're wearing really short skirts. I swear if you look closely, you might be able to see their bloomers. Sweet Amanda. Okay, now we're gonna... This is Junkman.
Roses are red, violets are blue, Dorothy's all pink, and Shannon's got a hole in 'em. Cancel that Junkman.
Kids shouldn't be allowed to play on the phone. Now let's look at one more toy line from E-Toys, and it's time to rip off Rocky. World Champion the Boxer. That's an odd name for a toy line. It's not World Champion of Boxing. It's not the World Champion Boxer. It's World Champion the Boxer. Anyway, this is clearly a Rocky ripoff. The card art looks kind of like Rocky, but these are the cheapest looking figures of them all. And they're ripping off Rocky, of course, but they have a very cheap He-Man style body. And I bet you it's really light plastic. I bet it's one of these figures you can't even feel like you're holding. Like they have no weight to them. And I bet if you hold it up, you can see the sunlight coming through the plastic. You know figures what I'm talking about. Really cheap, thin plastic where you can almost see through it in certain places. Anyway, here's World Champion the Boxer, a fake Rocky action figure line. Well, that's a look at the action figures that E-Toys made. Again, I don't know what E-Toys is. I don't remember any of these, but maybe you do. And I always like to talk about these obscure manufacturers. And again, like we know the big dogs, but it's cool to look at some of these smaller companies and see what they were doing also to compete against the big boys. And what E-Toys were doing? Ripping off the big boys in a cheap way. Other than that robot. I really like that robot. That was awesome. Anyway, let me know. Did you have these? Do you know about these? Or are you like, I got to get these for my collection. They look awesome. And out of all the toy lines, which one did you like the best that we looked at? Was it that Tarzan line? Hey, that if you want to collect that line, it's easy. It's just one and you're done. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. I'm up to like my content. Subscribe to... What, Larry? I'm trying to make a video.
Cancel that Junkman.
We'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.